Hello, twin flames. Welcome to my channel. This is Victoria and I'm coming to you all the way from Blackpool, the United Kingdom. Whew, it's been quite a couple of weeks already. I still have another few days of my journey. I should be back by the 1st of June. So you'll see me in my usual setting, probably with a different backdrop, but I will be home. I will be doing ancestor message. I will be doing June forecasts for every sign. So there's a lot coming up. And of course, the following few days we'll have new moon in Gemini, and yeah, we'll have some fun with that. In the meantime, I wanted us to catch up on the energy of divine masculine and divine feminine collective. So we'll do a daily check-in. We'll see what's going on, what happened after we've been in this, after we recovered, let's say, or readjusted from the full moon in Gemini, in Sagittarius. Okay, so let's go into the Oracle deck, which is the Wisdom of the Oracle, since that's what I brought with me. I also have the Angel Therapy, so I'm trying to mix them up a little bit. Let's get a card for each of the twins and see where we are. For the third question, I'll do the message between the twins today. So message from DM to DM and vice versa. And of course, I appreciate your support, guys, during this time. I have missed a couple of days. I do intend to post readings every day now till I'm back home. It should be easier now that I'm actually settled in one location till the end of my journey, more or less. I still have a very busy schedule, but I'll do my best with the readings. And I appreciate your likes, shares, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you enjoy my content, please do so. All right? And yes, we'll be back with the Friday show. I need to pre-record it because I'm actually going to be traveling at 6 p.m. on Friday Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, I need to figure out some technical setup to do it from here. But I plan to do it. Yeah, hopefully it's all going to work out. Okay, let's see what we have for Divine Feminines watching. Never-ending story, number 37. So this is about a karmic cycle that, you know, it's like one of the big ones where you keep getting little bits and pieces here and there. I don't know, maybe it has to do with self-worth, right? And you're like, okay, so there is something here about me, like, you know, my story is something, you know, like me, myself, and I, like just who I am, what kind of personality I am, what works for me, right? Has to do with my story and how people who are close to me have treated me in the past, has to do with society norms and what feels like acceptable, unacceptable, permissible, impermissible, right? Like all these different layers and layers. And like, let's just be honest, it's not something that we can just solve overnight and be perfect at it, right? It's work. We're peeling off layers, and to me it's one of those big ones. For some it's jealousy, for others it's having difficulty to disagree, to say no, to disobey, break rules, that kind of idea. So whatever it is, this is coming up again. And you're figuring out that you, like, every time you feel like you've nailed it, you know, after a little while you realize that that was just another layer and there's so much more there. But that's the beauty of it. That's what I'm hearing, and somebody needs to know here that, how to explain this? I mean, obviously I have those kind of examples in my own story. And what I usually do is, well, I celebrate those wins, right? Even if it may seem like something small on the surface, like if you're telling someone in the street, they'll be like, so what, right? It may mean a whole world to you. And maybe you immediately can say how it impacted your relationships, multiple relationships, you know, like long time after those events happened or after that pattern was built. So that's super valuable. So acknowledge that, celebrate that, and know that even if it seems like it's not much, it actually is, because like, even if, how do I say this, even if it is, it's still a lot, because it unlocks the next layer, because you can't do like a fast forward and like pick up 20 layers. Maybe you can do 5 sometimes, right? If that's what you're guided to do, that's the experience the universe puts in front of you, if that acceleration is needed, right? But that doesn't happen very often, because frankly, it takes a lot of effort, energy. It takes longer to recover, right? It kind of puts you on the edge to like that point where it can be a breaking point. And definitely, like, it's a very rare occasion where that happens, and you know, the universe allows for that to happen. Unless you resist, you know, like that's a different story. So essentially it comes in turns, in layers, gradually, right? And sometimes that little piece was all you needed to like peel off 3 more layers. So yeah, celebrate that breakthrough, even if you recognize that this is part of a bigger pattern. You can build a map for yourself, like do a visual. If you're a visual person, if you're an audio person, record it. Like, what does it feel like? How do you connect this with the bigger piece? So that you can see like how much of a part of it, part of a bigger picture it is, right? And maybe that was just that missing piece that takes you forward in so many different directions, and you're like, oh, so that means that I was blaming myself here for nothing. Or, oh, there is this, I don't know, relative that I never even remember talking to, but they are connected to this part of the story, and there's something there, right? Then you can go into that direction, or even talk to that person if they are around, if they're available to you. Okay, this was long. Let's move faster, but you know, it's a channeled message, so whatever happens, happens. Oh, wow. For masculines, it's number 31. That's getting a little dark here. I mean, it's still, I love this light, by the way, because I'm sitting right in front of the window, as you can see in the mirror. Aha, a little bit of a visual effect for you. A window in the mirror. But yeah, it's great. As you can see, it's almost too much light, but I love it. And I'll try to finish this reading before it gets darker, although it has started that way. Like, we are at the sunset basically right now, which is kind of this picture too, to be honest. So this is why. This is the card we've had for Divine Masculine a couple of months ago. So this comes in now and that was what? April, right? That was the eclipses, beginning of April, end of March, beginning of April. That was the big energy shift when they were asking why. Now these are the changes that are happening in 3D layer, right? So that was more of a feeling, vibe kind of layer, dreams maybe, synchronicities that they were like, wow, this is really weird. This is actually like actual big changes in their life, and they're like, wow, this has taken me into a completely new space than I imagined for myself in the nearest future, and I wonder why. I had that kind of idea, like trying to understand what is the big deal here, like, is this a real deal? Those questions. Okay, let's go into tarot. By the way, if you have, I haven't asked this for a while, but if you have requests for specific readings, specific questions that you have that you want me to ask in my spread, let me know. And I will see if it fits into the current spread, just rebrand it a little bit, or I can do an entirely different spread all together. Okay. Let's see, we've got the energies, additional question, messages between the twins. Bottom of the deck, the High Priestess with the new moon. This new moon is a week away from us, but I'm getting like this is the Piscean energy. There's a lot happening on the cosmic level. There are actually quite a few trends happening right now. I'm obviously not as close to it like these days, just because I have a lot going on with my travel. So I stepped away a little on purpose, but Maybe I'll speak about it a little more in one of the readings this week to give you guys some more perspective. But I'm getting that this kind of trend, like the trend is actually impacting the twins big time. And it's in a way where you realize that there is a divine plan, that there is higher power, that there is something bigger than ourselves that's like paving our way. It's not just us like randomly deciding, right? But it's almost like it's at the point where it's hard to put a finger on it. Because the Piscean energy is very cosmic, right? The Pisces energy in general is like, it's like kind of like, you know, imagine like this liquid that just kind of like spills everywhere, like it fills up the space, whatever it is, right? It's hard to kind of shape it, if you know what I mean. For the clarification deck, we have the World. Yeah, this is end of a cycle. This is also about the change of season, right? So again, this is like the end of the beginning. This is, but not like the death energy. This is more like, yeah, spring is over, summer's here. For those in the US, by the way, we have our summer season. I know that summer begins in June, but the summer season actually started this weekend. We celebrated Memorial Day today. So, and Memorial Day weekend is an official start of summer, because every summer facility, like seasonal facility, opens up now. So this is like this kind of vibe. Obviously, it's on a different level, but this is just to give you an example of what it means, right? It's not necessarily that we just forgot, or like we scratched things that have happened before and we started from square one. No, this is just a different season. It's almost like if you were, I don't know, if in spring you took care of your health a lot, maybe physical fitness, then now you're getting into the point of like, I don't know, mending relationship with your ex, or because you have a kid together and it's never been easy, or I don't know, meeting new friends in a completely new setting that you never, like, you know, like the setting changes. So be ready for that. It's one of the things that your brain may be fighting you about. That's why it's important to, you know, say it out loud. Because you may want to force the situation like to go back to what you were focusing on, just because that was already the focus. You know, we were doing well, we were going that way, right? Like maybe just, you know, put a pin on it where it is. Maybe like for now that's enough, and now it's time to switch to this new thing, this new context. So for feminines, the energy is 8 of Wands clarified by 10 of Swords in reverse. 8 of Wands is the communication card, and I'm getting that there is some kind of message that the feminines are getting, whether it's directly from the DM or a channeled message to help heal something that's like kept going and kept being unresolved. So this never-ending story, right? Like there was something where you could be thinking, oh my God, I'm always in this situation where some things get untold, or where a person leaves and I don't really understand why, or there is like it's sometimes so difficult to agree on something that seems so simple, right? Like there is something that you're like, oh my God, and it happens again, it happened again, right? Like now I can clearly see that, like maybe there's something wrong with me, and you're gonna get a message and you're gonna understand. I mean, of course, everything has to do with you. The world around you reflects what's happening with you, but to a certain degree. But this is more than that. And you'll see different flavor to it, like why it's happening, what was important there to teach you, to show you, so you can understand it firsthand, right? Like really process it through your system to understand how that pattern works. I'm getting for a lot of you it's about communication, but it doesn't have to be. I mean, we're in Gemini season, so it's kind of asking for it. 8 of Wands is communication as well, but who knows? It doesn't have to be really. For the masculines, we have Knight of Cups clarified by the Magician. Wow, masculines mean business now. They want to move forward, they want to step up, they want to come forward. There's the phrase. They want to come forward to be able just to, I don't necessarily hear start from scratch, but it's kind of like to create something on canvas, you know, like to paint this painting. Maybe somebody already like gave some, you know, colored something as a background, right? But this, the it's the painting, maybe it's an oil painting, where they can still, or and they actually, they understand that they're supposed to add character, storyline, this and that, like it's their story. They're supposed to create it. And they want to do it. With this Knight of Cups, they definitely see that the Magician is, by the way, the Gemini energy as well. So like the external, like the enthusiasm and thinking, communicating is connected with the way they feel, right? They want to blend this together. They want to cook it in the oven, make something new. And this is like that creative process that's going on there. Like, okay, I've got this canvas now. I can create pretty much whatever I want. So if I have this chance, right? So a lot of them are still saying if, what would I paint? What would that picture be like? Beautiful. And that's where that why comes in, right? Because they're thinking, for example, like I used to want, I don't know, to have this house, to have, I don't know, 3 cars, to be able to go around the world, travel around the world or something, right? And now it's like, oh, well, why do I want that? So that's how they're now assessing, like, do I still want to keep it in my painting? Like, or like, do I really want to paint that? Like, to bring that into my life right now from the place that I am in. Additional question. 9 of Pentacles clarified by Page of Swords. Yeah, so the twins are seeing some truth about where they are as personalities and how other people see them. It's a very interesting perspective on 9 of Pentacles. Thank you for this image. But 9 of Pentacles is usually like, okay, how I see myself, right? Or what do I represent? Or what are my needs? It's like nurturing your own garden, so to speak. But this is more like seriously like how others see you as an individual, you know, like maybe you're already married, but this is like there's still, like, everybody understands there are 2 people there, right? So they still see you as a personality and your person, or like your spouse, whatever, right? Or if they don't, that's part of what they see about you as well. So what does it mean for, what's the context for the feminines? The Lovers clarified by the Empress. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The Mercury together with Venus. Oof. Ouch. Things are getting hot. I mean, these are great cards, don't get me wrong. Although the Lovers in this deck is kind of a love triangle, if you know what I mean. But I love the creation energy, right? And I love that for the feminines, it's like the connections that I create, right? Like they then define who I am, kind of, you know, like they say, tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are, right? Or what kind of person you are, like by speaking to your friends, right? It's that kind of vibe here, that it's like you almost create your persona in a way by the way you set up your friendships, your trusted relationships. Remember, we spoke, and I speak about it from time to time in my Friday shows. Mindfully Awake, by the way, you can Google it, find it on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. Anyway, really, I speak about what was I saying just now? What's my thought now? So yeah, building relationships, they define you. And essentially through the definition, it's like, yeah, it's very important really to do that inventory of like, who do you let into your life? Oh yeah, right. So the concept of trusted relationships versus relationships where you keep a person at an arm's length, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna talk to you from over here, you stay over there. Could be for a number of different reasons. It doesn't automatically mean a certain social role. It's more of a, you know, your feeling, your vibe, how you gel as a person, what kind of history you have together, obviously, right? So this is like, okay, how do I build those trusted relationships? What kind of people do I surround myself with? How authentic am I with them? That's that context. Some food for thought for you feminines. It seems like it's more for feminines today, but you know, we're rolling with it. For masculines, we have Three of Cups clarified by Queen of Swords, which essentially is friendship as well. And it's about honesty as well. You see how much sword energy we have, plus the Lovers, plus the Magician, right? It's Gemini season, baby. We have a few planets in Gemini right now, or those who are moving into Gemini. So this is in big focus. We've exited the Mercury retrograde a month ago. So this month after that period has been a lot about like how do we then integrate those learnings into our lives, right? And again, that's why it's almost like it's exam time now. Have you integrated them? Do you still have more homework to do? So for masculines, again, they're seeing like who do they spend time with. For them, maybe it's a little more practical, pragmatic in terms of like who do I have a drink with after work? Who do I want to celebrate with when something great happens in my life? Who do I call if there has been a complete disaster? Something along those lines. Like, and how honest can I be in those situations? Very synchronistic energy, I would say. Just like the vibe I'm getting. I mean, obviously it's the minor arcana as opposed to the feminines who have gotten the major arcana. So feminines, you're divinely guided to get into those topics that I just mentioned. Masculines are kind of facing it more from a place of, okay, so I've changed my mindset in certain ways. I'm living in different energy, right? Like it's certain connections, certain ways of communication that have worked before just aren't working anymore. They just don't feel good. They don't feel right. It's like, yeah, this is not good for me. Like, I'm not sure what happened there, but I need to do something different, right? So it's coming from that place. Okay, what are the messages from Divine Feminines to Divine Masculines at this time? Two of Cups clarified by Knight of Swords. Yay! Message of this spiritual connection. You know, this is like, feminines are saying what we have is so much more than any other karmic connection you've ever had or I've ever had, right? So yeah, and part of it is understanding that it's not gonna, we won't be able to play it the same way, right? The same rules that have maybe worked before aren't gonna work here. On the other hand, some things that haven't worked before may actually be a good fit here, right? It's the language of the soul, right? You can't really just speak about it logically, right? It's a good idea to communicate so we get aligned, so we do checkpoints, so that we kind of support each other with what's going on, with where this is going. How do we make the most out of it? How do we like literally support each other to stop the anxiety and fear and instead enjoy the process, right? So if feminists want to have that conversation, keep it in mind, but keep it in mind, it's like gonna be a disclaimer of that conversation, that like don't compare it to other stuff that you've been through. You may compare it in a way to understand that this is very different. That's about it, right? But don't try to replicate what you did before. Okay, message from masculines to feminines. The Chariot clarified by Knight of Pentacles. The Chariot, they see this guy's rushing to the Nine of Pentacles. So again, going back into that question of how others see you, right? I mean, you're already irresistible to your DM. That's what they're saying to you. They want to rush in as quickly as possible, but there is divine timing here. The speed, the way the horse behaves, the roads that they take, how winding or how straight they are, is divinely guided. This is a major arcana. So it's not like they can really push it, even if they want it. They would like to if they could, but you know, there's certain things that they still need to experience on their noble knight journey. I like this metaphor so much about noble knights because that's really how fairy tales roll in that setting. You know, the knight that does a lot of heroic deeds, goes through adventures, challenges, like overcomes obstacles, right? And they get the princess at the end after they do that. after the beast is slain, the princess is saved, but like even if it's not saving the princess, even if it's part of that, like, you kill the beast and you can have her hand in marriage, right? It's at the end, it's after those. So that after is not here yet. But yes, they are excited. They want this to happen. And what was I gonna say? And feminines. Yes. So because this is Nine of Pentacles and we're just talking about it, from your side, if you're looking for something that you can do in the meantime, right? This is again reassessing this concept of how do people see me? Am I authentic in my communications? How am I building those relationships? What kind of universe am I creating for myself, right? Because this is your universe, right? It's more of a micro level, but still, this is your main universe, I would say. It's very important to be like, to feel good in your own skin, not just when you're by yourself at home and you have your spiritual practices and you can meditate and rebalance, but also when you are with those people, right, that you're spending time with. And if you aren't, then that's a clear sign that maybe you shouldn't spend time with them, or there's something for you to pay attention to that they're trying to show you, right? So that you can be more authentic, so you don't have to work hard on it. There's something there for you. Okay, I am gonna leave it here. Obviously, I missed the readings with you guys, so this got a little long, but all those messages were important, and I'm really glad that I got to deliver them. I hope they were useful for you. And, as always, I'll be back with more readings very soon. If you need a person, let me know. I'm gonna be back home in a few days, and I'll be back on the roll. I'll still have to catch up with June horoscopes, but regardless, hit me up for a personal reading and we'll agree. It can be either a live one over Zoom, or it can be a recorded video that I send to you. But either way, we can get those questions, obstacles, challenges resolved together. I'm sure of that. I love you all.